Hey, it's Kaylee. You know me as the Parts Girl, and I work here at PartsEdge. Thanks for following this awesome journey as we highlight thought leaders and trailblazers, share best practices in fixed ops, and cover success stories of how dealers sell more parts and service. This is the PartsEdge podcast with Kaylee Felio. Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast. I'm excited. I'm interviewing MK Valley. Those of you who do not know her, you should know her. She is the CEO, co-founder of SparkServ. It's a startup company in automotive making big waves. I'm so excited because we connected. I can't even remember. It feels like we've been connected for years, but you as a human are amazing. I feel like we're going to have a great conversation. We already started our conversation before. I should have recorded it. And we're so passionate about just the way automotive and consumers and scheduling appointments and all of that fun stuff. So I want to start with just that, like how automotive is really just putting a band-aid and not really fixing the actual problem and forcing people to schedule appointments the way that we think they should be done, not the way that the consumer wants to be done. Does that make sense? Did I say that right? Yeah. So I'm sure you have so many things to add to that. So let's just dig right into, I think one of the questions we thought of was like, when was the last time you called Amazon?
Yeah,
Right? Everyone uses Amazon. Those who
yeah.
don't know.
One of the biggest direct-to-consumer, essentially, providers for most households in America.
Mhm.
And thinking about, when's the last time we actually picked up the phone to call them? And as I was exploring that, I was kind of
Did we
struck.
ever? Did we ever call them?
I think maybe
Maybe
in the
like a
early
very
days of
yeah.
Amazon, but really it's uncommon. They do bury their self-service a little bit in their website, but they give every opportunity to self-serve or to take your package back to like a Whole Foods or some other package point. Um, and part of what I was thinking about is like for them, the amount of inbound calls that they receive every single day, that is a failure metric. They do not wanna be receiving calls, and a huge part of the reason why really boils down to cost. Obviously, it's
Also, no one wants to call. Like,
no, no, I don't wanna wait on hold. I mean, I, like, picked up pills the other day from CVS. I called, I had a question about my prescription. I needed, to know basically how much it would cost with my insurance, how much would be covered, and I was on hold for literally 25 minutes, so I just ended up getting in the car and driving in person and waiting there. And, I think it's kind of crazy to think about, calls are really the backbone of this industry, and yet I can't remember the last time that I wanted to call my airline, my Amazon, my mortgage lender, my insurance provider, even
the
my pharmacy.
dentist. I mean, if you think about, because dentist, I feel like dentist or doctor, that's like similar to your car because you have to take care of your car. So it's like, I don't want to call my dentist or doctor.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's, like, a really underutilized opportunity, when you think about fixed ops specifically, and I think you're as familiar with the stats as I am, but dealers only own 30% of the service market share today. Every single time I, as a millennial, open up my phone to go schedule an oil change, I'm looking at the dealerships around me. Each time that I have to seek out a solution on my own, it's an opportunity for someone with better SEO, better digital marketing to usurp you and serve me a sponsored ad for their store that might be closer. I think for the younger generation, brand loyalty is kind of dead, and loyalty by convenience is really why some of these companies like Amazon or Instagram or TikTok with instant gratification have thrived. I mean, Amazon's getting undercut right now by TikTok Shop, which allows you to see someone using a product, scroll, click, and order it directly.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that was happening because it's like you see all these cool things and then you have to go through so many hoops to order and they've completely removed that. That's
Yeah.
insane. Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess Kaylee, from your perspective, I think one of my big questions is how does this reliance on phone calls play into the parts process? Like, we know how it plays into service. If I
Mhm.
pick up the phone to schedule an appointment and no one answers, or they can't tell me how long it'll take, how much it'll cost, or if they have the parts needed to do the job, there's no way I'm going there. But
Yeah,
once
my
we get
favorite
in, how does
yeah.
that impact parts?
I mean, it impacts everything, and one of the biggest things I feel like is the how broken I mean, I feel like we can't completely fix that process, but, like, someone calls for tires, and then they have to get transferred back and forth to really get a price. It's like and also, I don't even wanna call to get a price. I wanna just put in what the information you need from me, and then you just display what my options are. And it's I mean, I don't think I answered your question, but it's just crazy to me what year we're in and, um, how difficult it is. And most people don't really know what parts they need. I mean, you have the DIY people, but I feel like that market is a lot smaller, like way smaller, and it's going down as the vehicles change. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and I think that's an interesting point that, only really the DIYers would know what part they need. The rest of the market knows that they have a problem. I think that's one of the biggest differences that I'd like to see dealers address in the next decade or so is, like, if I call an independent repair shop and tell them that I've got a battery drain or I suspect I've got a battery drain, they're gonna tell me to bring my car in. They will walk to the front, they will check it out right then and there. They will tell me what they suspect it is. They will give me, like, a timeline. They're consultative about it because it's just usually 1 or 2 people, like, or a father and son or a father and daughter or something like that.
Mhm.
Versus at a dealership, I'll drop it off. They might not get to even opening the diag until a couple days or even weeks later. And I feel like we've placed service advisors in this role where they are meant to be salespeople. They're meant to be consultative. They're meant to recommend things for the health and betterment of your vehicle, all the while, of course, selling as many add ons as they can. But we haven't given them the power to do so because we silo all of the data. So they don't know if we even have the parts available to resolve their issue, and in that way, we're essentially turning them into nothing more than order takers, which obviously is not going to help us pad our margins. It's not going to help us reach the next rung or try to cover our fixed costs. It's just this impossible position that we've put ourselves in with these silos of data.
That and then the constant, when you think about AI and the phone calls, it's like that to me is just a Band-Aid. It's not solving the problem, and you're not really focusing on what really is needed to move that move the industry, move it we just need to be doing it differently. How are we so far behind all the other industries and companies in that? It's a waste of people's time too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think that's where something like PartsEdge comes in, is this idea of doing the process differently. Instead of waiting for an appointment to demand a part to order it, being able to use machine learning to recognize patterns in your inventory and recommend that you order certain parts because of the demand that it presumes you will be generating. I
Yeah.
think
Dead
that's
trusting the
where
ding dong. That's really what it is. Yeah.
yeah, that's where I think AI can fundamentally change the way that dealers reach customers. It's not by making the customer connect with AI or, like, when they call after they've tried to self-service, after they've looked at multiple dealerships to try to get pricing or availability information at the end of their customer journey, essentially. They're picking up the phone and they're calling us, and we are making them speak to a robot that can give them nothing more than the pricing and duration that exists in your scheduler. And that's, I think, where we're failing.
Failing, yeah. Now that leads me because I wanna give you that opportunity to share what you're doing because I feel like your story is very unique and I feel like you weren't just like every you weren't like some random person that was like dealerships need this. Like you really did your research, you created a solution. So I think I want to hear more about, I know I want to hear, I want everyone to hear more about that story of like where you came from, how this all started, what you're doing. So it's a big question.
It
I'll
is
interrupt
a
you.
big question.
I
Yeah,
have more.
please feel free to jump in so I'm not just blathering on. But yeah, I grew up in southeastern Michigan, so everyone in my family has worked for or at General Motors or a dealer at any point in their life. And my dad is no exception. He works in finance at a dealer group out of Michigan. So obviously, I've always yeah, he brings his work home with him, and he was kinda lamenting, about the post-COVID margins. So, during COVID, with the chip shortage, there was not enough supply for demand, and obviously prices were incredibly high. Dealers were realizing these incredible, profit margins, and now that we're kinda back to square one and we've pulled all this demand forward, they're struggling to kind of figure out how to keep that margin going, and obviously for us, fixed ops is really the solution. It has a 50% margin, so incremental increases in productivity can bring huge increases in profits. So basically what I did is got curious about service and where it comes from, how we're actually generating additional appointments, additional repair orders, and shadowed a BDC for a couple days and was just blown away by how bad the technology was, how siloed the data was, how limited a view they had into what one another was doing. I mean, there was no
Quick
way
question.
to Oh, go ahead.
The VDC that you shadowed, was it specific for sales or was it sales and fixed ops together?
It was purely service.
Service. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it was just crazy to see that we would call a customer multiple times a week and have no log to see what someone 2 desks over just did. And actually to test this, I did maybe 70, maybe 80 mystery shops on different BDCs across the US. And I would call the same one repeatedly, like time and time and time again, and just give like my same name, same phone number, my real vehicle, my real VIN, my real auto issues, because of course, as the founder I am, I drive a 2016 salvage title Subaru Outback. So it was having a battery drain, unfortunately. And I would ask them the same questions over and over, like, how much will it cost? How long will it take? And when can you get me in? And there was just no ability to give any sort of realistic timeline, even when I dumbed down what I was asking for like, brake pad replacement or resurfacing. Things like that were even difficult to answer, and that's how we founded Spark, which was basically the amalgamation of DMS, CRM, scheduler, lead lists, and activity tracking.
So you just saw the gap of everything being so separated and you created something to pull it in together.
Yes. Yes, so
So
one-stop shop so that they don't
definitely.
spend, 3 minutes researching a customer only to dial them and get their voicemail.
What is the I mean, we're kind of jumping ahead, but what does the future look like? Because what you're doing now solves that, but what we're talking about, can totally connect. So is that kind of where the future holds for you guys and what you're really I know it's a big, big task, but I would love to I always bring it up all the time. I'm like, "Why do I have to call?"
Yeah. I think that's a really good point. We started this company all ears and no industry knowledge. Um, all of our best product ideas came directly from users. And I think as we've learned, as we've sat in service bays and seen like firsthand the issues that arise or the communication gaps, one of the things that I find myself more and more convicted in is that this process is broken. We're seeing people drive off the lot never to be seen again, and we're not reaching them in the ways that they need to be reached. I also see like AI is obviously a huge buzzword in our space right now, but I fundamentally don't believe that putting a robot on the phone is going to solve our issue of creating poor customer experiences. I think dealers get a bad reputation for being, this sleazy used car guy. When in reality, like this is an old school industry with old school values. That means integrity, that means reliability, transparency. And I think when we put these stopgaps in place that take the human out of our human interactions, we end up losing. So, where I see this market going is teams can use Spark to be better, more present on the phone, more informed, more reliable. And teams can use our Spark AI to embed a phone number on their website and send outbound text messages that proactively manage the health of their vehicle the same way you would if you haven't seen a dentist in 6 months and you get a text for a cleaning. The layperson doesn't know the OEM recommended milestones for getting tire rotations, new tires, new brake pads, even an oil change or an air filter change. They have no idea. And if we can
Mhm.
reach them proactively in the way that they like to be reached, which is on a cell
Educated.
phone,
Mhm.
then we can, I believe, win back our customers who purchased our vehicles from us and win back market share for dealers.
I agree. And continue to educate, but not bombard. Like, "Hey, we miss your car. We miss you." It's like,
Yeah.
"No, I mean, cool, you miss me, but, like, what do I need to come in for? Tell me what I need." 'Cause
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think, there are a lot of really amazing financial platforms or F&I products out there that I think we as dealers are not using to the best of our ability. Like Sunbit is an incredible, powerful tool to use to sell additional services to your customer. Like I need new tires by the end of this winter, but at my last appointment, I wasn't ready to pull the trigger. If we could have educated customers early on and helped them financially plan for a 7 or $800 purchase, I think we can win more deals like that. We can add more dollar values to ROs and move appointments from being, a $300 average gross per RO to a $500 average gross per RO and absolutely decimate the industry milestone that 50% is the maximum profit margin you can get out of service. I think if we change our process and we change the way we do business, we can boost that up to 60 or 65% and truly create like kingmakers in the automotive
I
industry.
absolutely. And just by preparing people, I think you said it, and I talk about this all the time, like, most of us are planners, and we have to plan certain big items, and I think we forget that, or we just don't realize because, like, when you think about going to the doctor or the dentist, most of the time you have insurance, so you don't really have to, like, you have to plan, but it's like it's a little bit, you have time, but, like, with your vehicle, the insurance covers accidents, doesn't and cover everything, so it's like you have to plan for those things and think, and I don't know if I'm
Yeah,
making but
I don't know. I just think it's like also when it comes to like car insurance providers or warranty providers, like that data should absolutely be shared with vendors at dealerships because would you rather pay out, a $20,000 claim on a vehicle that got totaled because the threads were bare or the treads were bare on your tires and they ran off the road? Or would you rather, compensate half of a set of new tires under warranty? Seems like a no-brainer to me, but what do I know? I'm just some guy trying to help dealers win back market share.
I think what you're doing is incredible, and I think it's also brave too. To I mean, obviously you grew up in automotive, so you're in automotive, even though you say you're not from automotive. But given your background, because I know more of that, um, I just think that it just gives auto such an advantage to have people like you that have that outside industry that comes in and provides a solution. And also I wanted you to share too kind of how you got your start because you guys started, and I don't know if you can share, but like you have you have investors? Can I talk about that? Like
Yeah, yeah, we are very yeah, we're very proudly in the Automotive Ventures portfolio. Shout out Steve Greenfield, Justin Charbonneau, Andrew Gordon, really great guys who we are so proud to partner with. I think from a mentorship perspective, they are the cream of the crop, so we're
Mhm.
incredibly grateful, and we
How did they
actually
prove it? I wanna
Oh,
know. Yes.
yeah, it's a bit convoluted, but a friend of a friend told us to reach out to Andrew, as a former, founder turned operating partner in the automotive space, so we reached out to him for some guidance and got introduced to Steve, and kind of the rest was history. We met them, loved them. They're incredibly high integrity, transparent, kind people who I think any founder or aspiring founder in automotive should absolutely put on their list to try to work with. And we just hit it off. They introduced us to some dealers. We pitched our idea, our vision for what this could be. And the rest kind of is history. So,
That's so and that was about a year and a half ago. That's amazing.
yes.
And how can you share this did you have any fears on? Because I saw you give a presentation at one time, and I loved it. It was like, um, "Make it not fuckab" what was it? I know we were
Oh,
like, "Regress?" But
yeah, becoming unfuckwithable.
what was it again?
Becoming unfuckwithable, you know?
Yes, because that's what I wanted to ask was, like, going in, starting this, and then starting to pitch and get, relationships started, like, I'm sure it wasn't easy. Like, you totally make it easy, and you're such a badass, but, like, can you share any pointers with anyone, like, of, anyone that's not, I guess, in the dealership or anyone that pitches things? Like, what was your biggest thing?
Yeah, I think I don't know, obviously part of it is just having conviction that you deserve to be there, you deserve to be in that room, um, but I think a big part of deserving to be there is going in and listening. One of the best bits of advice that Automotive Ventures has ever given me is just go sit in a store. Because you will learn so much more by osmosis and curiosity than you ever will by making assumptions about what might work or what might not. And I think that's part of feeling like, hey, even though we are not doing what everyone else is doing in this space, I feel that this is the right approach. And I feel that because I've gone and sat in the stores and met the advisors, met the BDC agents who no one has ever cared about. You know, I
That's
think a lot of
powerful.
it's just giving a shit about the
Yeah,
people who you serve, because you don't serve outsiders, you don't serve in I mean, I guess you do serve investors, to a certain extent, but, like, at the end of the day, you serve your customers. You serve the people who are in the store turning wrenches, and I think if you lose sight of that, that's where it starts to get tricky, but as long as you know the names and the stories of the people that you're trying to help, I think it makes finding your North Star pretty easy. It's just one question. Will life be better for the people I care about? And if not, maybe you don't do it. Maybe you have
yeah.
to, but, think twice.
Find something else, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so, I'm not crying, by the way, I'm just itching my eye.
It's okay, Kaylee, I know that I elicit a powerful emotional response, that's fine.
No, it's, like, so, inspiring, like, I since we connected, I was just so inspired, I'm like, "I wanna be like you when I grow up," even though we're, like, I think the
Oh my
same age.
god. I wanna be like you, come on, you're the parts girl.
It's funny. It's crazy that people I don't know, I didn't really mean for it to be like this, but it's just sharing yourself and sharing your experiences, you create the people you wanna work with and the people you wanna be around. That's really what it is. And believing in, like, just what you said, believing in that you're making a difference, even though the point that you made too is it's always been like what we've done too is we're such a niche. No one cares about parts. No one's like, oh, they came with the building. It's all figured out, whatever. It's such a hard thing to break through. And it's been such a fun challenge, um, but feeling different, feeling like you're not with everyone, and I don't know, just over the years with LinkedIn and creating communities, it's so nice to feel like you have that voice that, people do actually care about what we're doing, even though it is different and not AI, phone takes or whatever it's called.
No shade, no shade. If it
Yeah,
works for you, it
well,
works for you.
yeah,
But
I
yeah,
mean, there's a time and a place for it, but it's not the
Absolutely.
solution. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a solution. It can move the needle for sure, but I think we need to take a good hard look in the mirror at why have we created this problem for ourselves that only answering the phone can solve? What if we just changed the way we reach our customers? Then you wouldn't need to be spending, 5 grand a month on telecom solutions. You could just increase your margin.
And your people would probably be a lot happier.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like
Yeah, that
those
was kind of the crazy thing. I'm obviously, I'd love to hear about your experience in parts and kind of how you see the future of AI in parts, but it seems absurd to me that, you know, it just hasn't changed. I mean, there's that old adage about in, I don't know, 50 years ago or something, people were selling or average salesperson was selling 10 cars a month, and now they're still selling 10 cars a month, but they have way more tooling and more, like, systems of record, more homework, more admin, and we haven't gotten more efficient. So, when it comes to parts, like, why do you think that the needle hasn't moved? Why are we still using spreadsheets and, warehouses?
Yeah. I think because it's worked and it's the way it's always been done. And we are seeing a bigger shift, because there are people that are retiring and there's newer people coming with different mindsets, different ways of thinking, that there is a better, more efficient way because that's no what's the word? Gosh, can't even that's I'm not talking bad on the people that are retiring at all.
No,
Because they're
no.
great. They're great at what they do. And what I'm really talking about is the people that because parts managers are naturally very, very, very efficient people. They love efficiency. They're always thinking about what is the quickest, best, simplest way to get the result that they want. So when you think about parts and the inventory and there's so much data, why wouldn't you use technology or solutions? And it's to your point, like to what I already said, is like it's the way it's always been done and it's worked. So I just think I don't even think I'm answering your question. I do that all the time. I just think that it takes a different mindset to really think outside of the box. How can we be better? Um, I think AI is going to be huge to save us time and not figuring out the data, but giving us what we need to review to and then to further ask questions. And I also think too, when it comes to AI and our vehicles and the parts needed, I mean, it's probably already happening. I think it's kind of happening, but like they can predict what's going if this breaks in your car, it's also going to break this, this, and this. Like those
Mhm.
types of data, it's already there. It's just kind of bringing it all together, I think, to really make it like what you're already doing with your solution. It's just bringing data together
Yeah.
and making so you can make better decisions.
Yeah, I think it would also be I mean, I've spent a lot of time in service bays, and one of the things that I've seen so much with parts is, like, poor behavior from the service advisors that then and kind of due to parts delays that have this horrible cascading impact where, like, you know, you have someone who comes in with a drivability concern and a non-drivability concern. We resolve the drivability concern. The part for the non-drivability concern is back ordered. So what do? We don't close out the RO. We don't remove liability from the dealer. We toss their keys back to them and say, "Hey, we'll call you when it comes in," and leave this repair order sitting open. And then only when the part is in, we call them and try to get a hold of them and try to get them to come back in for the rest of their services. And I think, like, something like AI or yeah, like an AI notification system for when things are now shipped and delivered, something to reach out to the customer on a routine basis until they have an appointment scheduled to come back in. Like, these are the leaks in the bucket that we've come to recognize as the cost of doing business that, like, PartsEdge can in real time help with, that SparkServ can in real time help with. And I think combining those and building basically an automated workflow to manage the parts that need to come in and the communications that need to go out.
Mhm.
I think that is the future.
That's huge. Yeah, and really just, like, looking like you said, like, looking yourself in the mirror and actually working together with your service manager and parts manager, because if you guys are constantly battling and not working together, it's like, you're just gonna not be happy, and it's never gonna work. The
Yeah.
best dealerships, the parts and service managers are best friends, and they work together, and they're not like, "Oh, that's your job," like, that's what I hear a lot of times, like, "Oh, that's parts," and then,
Yeah.
"Oh, no, that's supposed to be service." It's like, that's the way it can't operate that way.
Yeah. It's also like, come on. We know that there are dealerships that operate today by having porters essentially run Post-it notes from advisor to parts manager to tech. We have gotta stop with that. This needs to be a one team, not 3 siloed departments with absolutely no visibility into what the other is doing unless they go look at the whiteboard in the service bay.
Mhm.
It's insane.
It's insane.
I just think, if we wanna be better, we can be better together, and that's where we go first. It takes no technology to improve communications between teams. None. You don't need to text, you just need to talk to each other, check in with each other.
Be part of a like, a team, yeah.
Yeah, and know what you guys are working towards. Like, I think Holler Automotive out of, Orlando, they do an amazing job with that. Every single person in the BDC, every tech, every service advisor knows what their job is, and their job is to sell more hours. That is their North Star metric, and they've hammered that into their team culture, and they are so much better for it. I think if all dealers paid that much attention to operating as one fixed ops unit and not multiple teams within the fixed ops department, things would be a little different. Life might be a little easier, but
And the ones that figured it out, they're just gonna have life a lot easier and pass everyone up, so
yes. Yeah,
okay, so just to wrap up the conversation, um, man, we talked about so much, but we were very organized about this. I feel very because most of the time I'm like a squirrel. I'm like, woo, woo, all over the place. But
likewise, likewise.
but I feel like we stayed on point and we did good. And the main thing is to really think about the process of what we're making our customers do, how we're communicating with them, how we're communicating as a team, and looking at solutions that can really help and not just put a band-aid on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a new vendor will never solve all of your issues. You have to want to change. But I do think with the advent of AI and its commercial availability, the dealers who win are gonna be the ones who look at using AI for analysis and aggregation, not for replacement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's the perfect way to end it. Thank you so much, MK.
Yeah, thank you, Kaylee. I love PartsEdge and I love being on the show. So,
Yeah, I
can't
love
wait to
having you.
see you again sometime.
I'm sure you'll be back on. And if anyone wants to reach out to MK, you can find her on LinkedIn. We'll also have the links too so you can reach out to her and connect. Thanks so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you, Kaylee.